For this lab, I chose to do a 3-2-1 puff rocket. This is what my rocket looked like, and to make it, you just roll up a piece of paper on a pencil, and then you add the small triangles at the bottom. And for my hypothesis, I chose to do, if I increase the amount of air through the straw, then the rocket will travel a further distance. So for my rocket, all you had to do was blow into the straw and the rocket flew off of the straw. And for my baseline data, I did a small amount of air, for example, blowing out a candle, and the average distance traveled in inches was 47.25. And for my experimental data, I did a larger amount of air, which would be blowing on your food when it's hot, and the average distance traveled was 56 inches. And I found this data very interesting because I did not think there would be that much of a difference between the two, but this data does support my hypothesis because when there is a larger amount of air, the rocket does travel further. My rocket compares with Newton's 3 laws because the first law is every object continues in a state of rest or in a state of motion in a straight line at a constant speed unless it is compelled to change that state by an unbalanced force acting on it. So my rocket is in a state of rest on my straw until I use my unbalanced force, which is the air, and then it changes. The second law is the acceleration produced by a net force on an object is directly proportional to the net force, is in the same direction as the net force, and is inversely proportional to the mass of the object. So the acceleration would be me blowing into the straw, and the object that is directly proportional to the net force would be my rocket. And the rocket moves in the same direction as the net force, which is the air. So that is how it relates to Newton's second law. And my rocket compares to Newton's third law because the third law is for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. And when I blow into the straw, my rocket takes off. So my action is blowing into the straw, and the opposite reaction is my rocket flying off of the straw.